You've rehearsed the apology 100 times, the long drive home, the phone you can't make yourself pick up, the words you've practiced for the person you're sure you've already lost. You know the speech by heart because somewhere along the way you became convinced that love has to be earned back, that forgiveness is a debt you have to pay in full before you're allowed to come home. So you rehearse. And there is a story 2,000 years old about a young man who did exactly that. He walked home with a speech in his mouth, certain of how this would go. But the story everyone thinks they know hides a single detail so scandalous that the people first hearing it would have gasped out loud. You've heard it called the parable of the prodigal son. You've never heard what the father actually did. This is the most famous story Jesus ever told. It's been softened, framed, stitched onto pillows. A boy runs off, wastes his money, comes home, gets forgiven. Sweet. But that's not the story Jesus told. He told it to a hostile crowd. Religious leaders who were furious that he kept eating with sinners. Every line was aimed at them, and every beat of it would have landed on that first audience like a slap. Because the shocking figure in this story was never the rebellious son. It was the father. And the single most outrageous thing in the entire parable is hidden inside one small verb. He ran. To understand why a running man would scandalize a crowd, you have to start where the son started, with an insult so severe it was almost unthinkable. The younger of two sons comes to his father and asks for his share of the inheritance. Now, read that again because your modern ears miss it. In that world, you received your inheritance when your father died. To walk up to a living father and demand it early was to say something unspeakable. It meant, I wish you were already dead. I don't want you. I want what I get when you're gone. It was a death wish spoken to a father's face, and the father, astonishingly, gives it to him. He divides the estate. The son converts his share to cash, which in a land-based family meant selling off ancestral property, severing himself from his roots, and he leaves for a distant country. There, he wastes all of it. Reckless living, the text says, until a famine hits and the money is gone. And he ends up doing the one job no one listening would have even said aloud, feeding pigs. For a Jewish audience, that was the floor falling out. Pigs were unclean. A son of Israel, knee-deep in a pig pen, so hungry he envies the slop in the trough. There is no lower place in the story than this. And it's here, in the mud, that he comes to himself. He builds his speech. He'll go home, admit he sinned, and ask to be hired as one of his father's servants. Not a son anymore, just a paid worker. He rehearses every word. Then he starts the long walk home. Now picture the village he's walking back to. This is a small, tight community where everyone knows what he did. He took his father's wealth, wished the old man dead, lost it all among foreigners, and now he's crawling back broke. In that culture, a son who disgraced his family, that publicly faced public consequences, the village could meet him at the edge of town, not with mercy, but with rejection, a ritual of shame to cut him off for what he'd done to his father and his people. The son is not walking toward a warm welcome. He's walking toward a gauntlet, and his father is watching the road. The text says that while the son was still a long way off, his father saw him, which means the father had been watching every day, scanning the horizon for a boy who might never come. And when he sees that distant figure, the father does something that would have made the entire crowd gasp. He runs. Here's why that detonates. A man of standing in that world, an elder, a patriarch, the head of a household, did not run, ever. To run, he'd have to gather up his long robes and expose his legs, and for a distinguished older man, that was deeply humiliating. Dignified men walked slowly. They were approached. They did not chase. A running patriarch was a spectacle of self-debasement. So why does he run? He runs to reach his son first, to get to him before the village can. The father takes the shame that was coming for his son, the humiliation, the public spectacle, and he puts it on himself instead. He runs through his own town, robes hiked up, legs flashing, an old man making a fool of himself in front of everyone, so that when his boy arrives, he arrives already wrapped in his father's arms. The son begins his rehearsed speech. "Father, I have sinned. Make me a servant." But he never finishes it. The father is already calling for the best robe. His own robe of honor. For a ring that signified the authority of a true son, and for sandals, because servants went barefoot and sons did not. Before the son can ask to be downgraded to a hired hand, the father has publicly, lavishly restored him as a son. Then he kills the fattened calf, enough meat to feed the whole village, and throws a feast. The message to the entire town is unmistakable. This boy is not cut off. He is mine, and he is home. So sit with the image you were never shown. Not a stern father, arms crossed, waiting for an apology good enough to earn his way back. A father who saw a smudge on the horizon and forgot every shred of his own dignity. A father who ran. That's the part the story wants you to feel. While you are rehearsing your speech, convinced you have to grovel your way back to being loved, grace is already running toward you. It doesn't wait for the apology to be perfect. It interrupts the apology. It reaches you before you've finished explaining why you don't deserve it. You've been taught that you come home by earning it. The story says, you come home because someone refuses to stop watching the road. But the parable doesn't end at the party. There's a second son. The older brother, the one who stayed, who did everything right, hears the music and refuses to go in. He's furious. He never wished his father dead, never wasted a thing, and here's a feast for the screw-up. So the father leaves his own celebration and goes out a second time, humbling himself again, to plead with the son who is standing in the cold by choice. And here's the quiet trap. It is possible to never leave home and still be lost. To be so certain of your own goodness that you can't stand the sight of grace handed to someone who didn't earn it. The crowd Jesus was talking to, the religious, the rule keepers, were the older brother. And the story leaves him outside in the dark with the door still open. So which son are you tonight? The one rehearsing a speech he doesn't need, or the one too proud to walk into the party? You've rehearsed the apology 100 times, but the story is trying to tell you something about the person on the other end. They are not standing with their arms crossed, waiting for you to get the words right. They've been watching the road, and the moment they see you, still a long way off, they will not wait for you to finish.